All right, so an enthymeme is an argument that's expressible as a standard form categorical syllogism, but it's missing a premise or a conclusion. A premise statement or a conclusion statement has been unexpressed. It's been left out of the argument. And we know that to effectively evaluate the argument, we have to evaluate that argument with all of its premises and its conclusions on the table. The question for us is, well, how do I know if a given argument is missing a premise statement or a conclusion statement? How do I make that determination? One of the answers to that question is this. Look for indicator words, premise indicators, conclusion indicator words. These words tell us that the argument is missing a premise. Here's why. Take a look at this argument. It is raining. Consequently, class will be canceled. Now, the word consequently is a conclusion indicator. It tells us that the sentence that follows is the conclusion. But it also tells us this. I just told you something that leads me to a conclusion. I just told you that it's raining, and for that reason, I think it consequently follows that class will be canceled. Okay, so the sentence that comes before the conclusion indicator is a premise, and the statements that follows the conclusion indicator is a conclusion. Okay, in this case, the missing premise is, if it's raining, class will be canceled. This premise says it's raining, therefore it does follow from that class will be canceled. All right. Now the same sort of principle or a similar principle is at play with premise indicators. So take a look at this argument. Chuckles is a canine because he's a dog. Because is a premise indicator. It tells us that the sentence coming up is being offered to you as a reason. I'm telling you something, and here's the reason I think what I just told you is true. It's because Chuckles is a dog. That's why I think it's true that Chuckles is a canine, okay? So whatever comes after because is going to be a premise, and whatever comes before because is our conclusion, because the sentence that follows because is the reason we think we're justified in making the claim we did before the word because. So in this case, again, we're missing a premise, and the premise is this: all dogs are canines. Chuckles is a dog, therefore Chuckles is a canine, and we can now see the completed argument coming into shape. So to flesh out enthymemes, we want to look really closely for indicator words, because missing indicator words indicate a missing premise. What happens when you don't have any indicator words? Well, then life becomes a little bit more tricky. Okay, so we could have a missing premise, we could have a missing conclusion. One of the things we want to look for is if the sentences that are being offered to us are joined together with conjunctions of some kind. Words like and, but, moreover, however, furthermore, right? When sentences are joined by those kinds of words, those sentences are performing the same function. Okay, so if I tell you that the cat is on the roof and it's a hot day, I'm telling you two statements, and maybe we draw a particular conclusion, like, oh, I guess the cat's going to burn its feet or something like that. But these presence of these conjunctive words are telling us that the statements on each side of the conjunction are performing the same function, and because an argument can have only one conclusion, it can't have two statements performing the function of conclusion. So the presence of any words like and, but, moreover, and so forth, they're probably telling us that we're missing a conclusion, right? All CR students are awesome. You're a CR student. You guessed it. You're awesome, okay? Now, if you don't see any words like these, and, but, moreover, however, then you want to look at the statements that you have in front of you, and you want to ask yourself this. Does it appear that one of these statements is being offered as a reason to believe or accept the other statement? If so, then I know that other statement is the conclusion, and the reason is one of the premises, and I'm missing a premise. On the other hand, if we look at those two statements and we say, if I accept these two statements as true, if I assume they're true, does that lead me to a conclusion? Because then maybe I'm missing a conclusion.